Hi, this is Kenya, and welcome to Explorations in Herbalism, or as I like to call it, Curious Herbalism. Today I have returned. I have been gone for quite some time. As many of you know, I had some things going on in my life, so I couldn't be here. That's why I'm giving you the eyes, so you can see my eyes and know that I'm sincere and sincerely happy to be here. Okay, so today's herb that we're going to cover is an herb that's not from here, because most of the herbs and the plants that I cover are indeed from here. This herb is now here, but it didn't start off here. This herb had to come a very long way. You can hear my wheezing. Oh my goodness. I'm wheezing quite a bit. I think I'm going to have to take some of that New England Blue Aster extract. Okay. But this herb had to come far, far away to get here. And the herb I'm going to talk about today is grapple root. You may know it as another herb, and it's called devil's claw. Devil, it's the devil. Okay, but no Waterboy references. But no, it is devil's claw, and this particular herb is known for being really good in not only magic, but as well as in medicine. Excuse me. Again, I'm wheezing a bit. It's not normal for me. Okay, to be doing that right now. Anyway, so devil's claw is and the pronunciation hypopargafium. Oh, you know what? I'm not having the best of days, so I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, but I will put it under in the chat area of what the word is because I just can't remember it right now. Um, I'm not at my best. I have had some things going on, so you have to forgive me. I'm a little bit slow on the upbeat today, but I'm going to give you some good information. Now, devil's claw is good for rheumatism, it's good for arthritis, it is good for circulatory systems, but not if you already have a problem with the circulatory system. It's good for other ailments that kind of hit us when we get older. But that's not why you came here, is it? You didn't come here for health medicine and other stuff, did you? You're going to get it anyway. Now, one of the things that devil's claw and grapple root, or the other words, are known for is the appearance. That's why it has another nickname, and that is wood spider, because it looks like a weird kind of arachnid made of wood. But it's not really wood, it's not really a spider. It actually is a plant that lays down. Now, the Latin word for the first part of it is actually something that grapples or hooks. Because if you've seen devil root, uh, sorry, devil claw, you've seen the claws, you've seen how they look. And if you are lucky enough to have seen it growing, which I've got my eye on you, why have you seen it growing? Where have you been? What have you been doing? Because remember, I said it came from far away? It came from Namibia and those areas. But if you've seen it growing, you know that it lays down because the other part of its Latin name talks about being prone, laying on the ground. Again, I'm not going to try to pronounce it today. I don't have it in me. I just don't. I just don't have it in me right now. But I think you'll like it. I think you'll like this plant because one, it looks beautiful. It has been, well, not naturalized, but it has been imported to Europe, and it is always, as many other immigrants, has been imported to the United States because it is used in gardens. That's right, we love our gardens, don't witches love gardens? Witches love gardening. I wonder why. But let's talk about what other reasons that witches and other people might be growing it. The main reason is because it's a very useful herb. It's a useful root when it comes to certain kinds of magical operations. It can definitely be used to protect a person. You know, you can put it in a bag above your, your portals, over your lintels. Now, for those of you who didn't take humanities class or didn't take architecture, a lintel is that area above your doorway that you can sit stuff on, you know, like when you sit charms above your enemy's door when you visit. Don't let everybody in your house. Never let everybody in your house. But not like I would ever do anything like that because I am as pure as the driven snow in Detroit on Dexter or Mac and Bewick. So if you know, you know. But but the thing about it is that Devil's Claw is not just for protection. You can do naughty things with Devil's Claw as well. You can do offensive magic with Devil's Claw. You can do protective magic. You can do curse work. But before we get into that, let's remember that I am supposed to be teaching you only good things. So let's stick to good things. Devil's Claw has those claws on it, those two long spines, and you can use those to undo a magical knot. So if you have a knot spell you've done, or you have a knot spell you found, you can definitely help with the Devil's Claw to use it. Now, I wouldn't recommend trying to use the spines on it to try to undo the knot unless it's a very loosely tied knot because you could break it. And why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But what you can do is dress the knot if you're undoing it. So before you get involved in that, let me say this. Don't don't bring up what you can't put down. If you do not know how to undo hexes or curses, don't touch them. You can not only do worse things to the target, you can get yourself in a world of trouble. Ah, ah, spray the bottle at you. Don't do that. But if you do know what you're doing, and you do know what I'm referring to when I say sprinkle those knots, you can sprinkle the knot with some of the devil's claw powder in it, preferably the root, but you can also use the talons. Another thing you can use it for is in exorcism blends. Before you start burning stuff up or pouring things down people's throats or making unguents and things like that, let me tell you something. Remember, I always tell you don't just put everything in your mouth? Well, don't just put everything on people's skin. Because if they have a heart condition, devil's claw can make this a problem. It can interact negatively with pre-existing conditions. Also, before you start using anything on the skin, there's always contraindications that could occur. So how do you fix this? You can use it with a witness. And when I'm talking about a witness, I mean an item that stands in place of the person that you're working on. And you can do your little healing work there. Another thing you can do is you can blow the powder on a person, but again, be careful. And don't blow it in their eyes. I'm looking at you, Terry. You can also make it into depending on what part of the plant you're using for the devil's claw. You can make it into a decoction or you can make it into an infusion. If you're using the flowers or the leaves of the plant or the claw, you can probably make an infusion. If you are using the root or the woody stems or that fruit, and guess what? The fruit is the part that looks like the wood spider, then you can make that into a decoction. But it depends. I mean, this is more like, work talk, shop talk when it comes to how to use it as far as, making these preparations. But this is to make the liquid. But what could you also use? You could use witch hazel. You could use that witch hazel oil or witch hazel alcohol based product, and you can saturate it and you can actually infuse the witch hazel with it because that's a really good blend for protection. Put a little rue in there. Remember, when you're using rue, know which rue you're using, or you may Rue the day. Okay, that was bad. That was bad. I admitted that was bad. But you get my point. And if I made you laugh or if I made you cringe, you'll remember what I said. Because when I'm talking about rue, in this particular case, I'm speaking about narrow leaf veiny rue. You usually see it in the magical stores as ruda. I am not talking about meadow rue. Please do not mistake one for the other. They are not the same. They are not good Judy girlfriends. They are cousins at best. If you mix these together, you have a really good anti-hexing blend or a really good quote unquote exorcism base. But what if you want to use it for something else? Well, let's look at where it grows. It grows laying down on the ground, right? What if you wanted that particular plant to open up your path? I did not say open up your roads. I did not say road opener plant. Before you leave today's episode, let's be very clear. This is not road opener plant. This is not Abre Camino. Not that that's the only plant that opens roads. But if you wanted to give some oomph to your road opener blend and you're not using Abre Camino and you're using other herbs, you could use this plant. But what if you want to close roads? What if you want to trip somebody up? You could definitely use this plant too. Why? Because it lays across the way. It's laying down. It's not that hard for it to trip you. And because the wood spider kind of looks like a hand or a cluster, maybe you can make it where it trips them up. I mean, I usually don't get into the wicked little things you can do, so you have to excuse me. Let's let's talk about some positive things. So one of the positive things you can do is you can probably saturate it with gin and mix it with juniper berries. Take it out of the gin now. Take it out. Mix it with juniper berries and some other herbs. If you make a medical, I don't want to say medical, that's not what I mean, a magical health-based poppet work or bag work. And why can you do that? Because what does gin make you do? Gin is a diuretic. Gin, also coming from juniper, is a diuretic. Juniper berries, diuretic. Why am I saying that? Why would I put them together? You're already there, right? You got me, right? Right. Devil's claw is also a diuretic. So you mix these together. You're not going to drink them. Don't put things in your mouth all the time. Ah, ah. But what you're going to do is use that, dry it out. After you mush it all together, once it's saturated and everything, dry it out. And it's just going to be a little bit damp. So you wring it out, make it a little bit damp. Put your other herbs in there that you're going to enchant, right? Then what you can do is if you're using it to help someone who's having a little problem, maybe they have issues with not being able to go to the bathroom or something like that, you're not giving anybody anything because you are not a doctor. You're not giving anything to anyone to take internally. But what you can do is dress a lamp with it or dress a candle with it. Do not mix that in the lamp oil. Something bad will happen. Trust me, I know. It doesn't matter why I know. It'll happen. And there you have a nice little altar spell if you want to try to help them with any kind of kidney issue. Magically, never medically. I hope today's episode has inspired you to get to know Devil's Claw Root, to find out a little bit more about the plants around you in your world and that are usually at the Botanica or the magical shop. As always, take care. As always, don't put it in your mouth automatically. Sometimes you can because you can buy the powder. This has been Kenya COVIAK on Explorations in Herbalism. So let's see. I have 4 seconds left. We're getting ready to play that groovy music. Doom, 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 doom.